Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a notice that a photo will be taken of each graduate on the platform. Between June 19 and September 19, graduates will be able to download a print quality photo at umb.ca/graduation/insignia. The information is available in your program. Please enjoy your morning. Thank you.
Amplissime Cancelari, placeti tibi et officium incipiat.
Plaquette.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the prayer of invocation given by Father Monty Peters, pastor at St. Anthony's Parish.
O heavenly God, creator of nature and humankind, on this beautiful morning, our university community gathers for Insania. We acknowledge you as the source of wisdom, love, life, and goodness, and we seek your blessing. Please bless each and every one of our graduates who will receive their degrees at this ceremony. May they treasure the education they have acquired, share it with others, and use it for your glory. And bless their parents, their spouses, their partners, their families, their friends, and everyone who assisted and encouraged them in their journey to this day. And bless the members of this learning community who supported and guided them in their studentship. Bless our maintenance people, our janitors, ground crew, security personnel, and physical plant employees who keep our campus neat and clean and safe for us. And bless our administrative and ancillary staff, the managers, secretaries, receptionists, and clerks who oversee the business of running our university. And bless our student services personnel, the counselors, advisors, medical people, and student supervisors, peer educators, and mentors who attend to the quality of student life. And bless our active and retired faculty, the deans, professors, lecturers, tutors, coaches, lab assistants, and technicians who enlighten and empower our students with knowledge, understanding, and critical thought. And bless the officers of our university, our chancellor, our president, vice presidents, senators, and governors who are entrusted with the challenge and responsibility of leading us. We come to this Insania with grateful hearts. May your Spirit continue to fill our gathering with celebration and joy. Amen.
Please be seated. I would like to take a moment here at the start of our ceremony to introduce the platform party, and I ask that you would please hold your applause until the end. Members of the platform, when I call your name, please briefly stand. It occurs to me, I should tell you that my name is Eddie Campbell, and I'm President and Vice Chancellor of the University of New Brunswick. Joining me on stage is Gwen Davies, University Orator and Dean Emerita, Anthony Secco, Vice President Fredericton, Father Monty Peters, Pastor at St. Anthony's Parish, whom you just met, UNB Chancellor Dick Curry, the Honorable Dennis O'Connor, Honorary Degree recipient, Vaughn Dixon, Professor Emeritus Honorary, Catherine McCain, Chair of our Board of Governors, Inspector Lise Roussel with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, James Murray, our Dean of Arts, Ted Needham, Dean of Renaissance College, John Williamson, Acting Dean of Law, Judith West, Professor Emerita, Anne Laforêt, a member of our Board of Governors, Andrew Martel, a member of our Board of Governors, Cindy Flan, Assistant University Comptroller, Karen Taylor, President of UNB's Associated Alumni, Linda Eyre, Assistant Dean of Grad Studies, Bly Frank, Dean of Education, University of British Columbia, David Hitton, University Registrar, Margaret Grant McGivney, Executive Director of UNB's Associated Alumni, Sarah Deveron, University Secretary, and Gary Waite, member of UNB's Board of Governors. Thank you all for being a part of this special day. Mr. Chancellor, member of the Board of Governors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly of all, our graduates, Welcome to the 184th Insignia of the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton. History surrounds us today. Some 220 years ago, on this very spot, here in the home of the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet people, the Loyalists who settled in New Brunswick founded their new Academy of Learning. Out of the forest that still lines much of the hill behind me, they carved out a space for their School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and the University of New Brunswick was born. It was not easy for the settlers in those early days, and they struggled through harsh conditions just to remain alive. That's what makes their focus on higher education at that time all the more interesting and all the more admirable. Their project would not immediately feed them or shelter them, but they recognized that higher education was crucial to the colony's long-term survival and prosperity. And today, as our graduates, you follow in those early footsteps. While much has changed since then, the importance of education has not. Then, as now, higher education can be a game changer, both for individuals and for society as a whole. Over the last few years, you have worked hard for your own betterment. But of course, in completing your degree, you are also contributing to the betterment of us all. Recent reports in the media concerning the value of your degrees are wrong and misleading. There are many, many studies that show that university graduates lead the pack in terms of employment, salary, and job satisfaction. And why would we as a society care about that? University graduates make up some 23% of Canada's population, but they pay more than 40% of all income taxes. The income taxes that support our roads, our hospitals, our schools, our universities, much of what makes Canada one of the best places in the world to live. No matter your particular degree program, as a university graduate, you have acquired skills that will never go out of style. How to think critically, how to make informed decisions, how to communicate with others, how to adapt to changing circumstances. You are engaged and involved, and you leave here today well positioned to launch your careers. But you also leave here today poised to change our world for the better. I want you all to remember the power of every individual to make a difference, to make this world a better place. Few understand the transformative power of higher education better than the man seated to my left. Our Chancellor Richard Curry's experience as a Beaverbrook Scholar at UNB kick-started one of the truly great careers in Canadian business. In fact, the experience he had here motivated him to later create his own prestigious scholarships at UNB. And our Curry Scholars benefit not only from significant financial support, but they also receive the mentorship and counseling from Richard Curry himself. It's just one of the many ways in which Dr. Curry has chosen to give back to the institution that contributed to his own personal success. This spring's insignia ceremonies mark Dr. Curry's final ones as our Chancellor. Over the last 10 years, and prior to then, UNB has benefited from his support and his guidance. This includes the numerous scholars with whom he has established a personal relationship, the many staff and faculty who have sought his advice and expertise, and many members of our campus and civic communities who play, work, and study in this tremendous space where we are today that he has built. And there are numerous individuals, groups, and governments in this country who rely every day on the expertise and the teaching and the research that he has supported here at UNB. Like Dr. Curry, UNB's builders of 228 years ago were men and women of character and of courage whose vision continues to inspire us today. And now, it's your turn. You stand on the shoulders of giants, but soon your own contributions will mark this landscape just as those who came before you. Congratulations to each and every one of you, graduates of our class of 2013. I have no doubt your impact will be extremely significant. I want to applaud you. I would now like to draw your attention to page 16 of the program. The medals listed there will be presented during these ceremonies. All other medals and prizes appear below the recipient's name in the graduation lists. These medals and prizes have been or will be presented at a faculty awards ceremony or can be picked up at Financial Services Office in the IUC building. On behalf of the university, may I congratulate all of the recipients, and let me express the hope that you will maintain the high standards which you have demonstrated in qualifying for these awards. I will now ask Vice President Tony Secco to assist our Chancellor Richard Curry with the presentation of medals.
Through the generosity of His Honor, Lieutenant Governor, a silver medal is awarded each spring to the outstanding graduating student in each of the faculties on the Fredericton campus. At this ceremony, we will present the medals in Arts, Law, and Renaissance College. I invite each recipient to come forward as your name is called to receive the medal from the Chancellor. The Lieutenant Governor's Silver Medal in Arts is awarded to Catherine Elizabeth Malcolm. Unfortunately, Catherine couldn't be here today, but we want to recognize her for her hard work and her accomplishments. Lieutenant Governor's Silver Medal for Renaissance College is awarded to Lisa Marie Robichaud. The Lieutenant Governor's Silver Medal in Law is awarded to Danielle Jean Marie Harding.
At this time, we will confer the honorary rank of Professor Emeritus. The candidate will be presented by the Vice President Fredericton.
The Professor Emeritus distinction is awarded only to retired faculty members. Criteria for the honorary rank include teaching performance of exceptional merit, extensive research, publication of unusually high quality, creative contributions to the administration and development of the university, and a record of professional conduct that indicates fair and ethical treatment of students and other members of the academic community. Candidates must be approved by the university's Board of Governors. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Vaughn Dixon to stand. Dr. Vaughn Dixon to be Professor Emeritus in Economics. Vaughn Dixon came to UNB in 1974. Over his 37-year tenure in the Department of Economics, he established himself as a solid educator and a highly regarded and respected leader. Dr. Dixon has always taken his role as an educator very seriously. One, to never shy away from responsibility, he assumed a full teaching load year after year, while at the same time producing an impressive number of publications. He had high expectations of his students and in return treated them fairly and with respect. His work on behalf of his students, whether advising or supervising, was seen by his colleagues as crucial to the strength of the program. Dr. Dixon taught and specialized in industrial organization, an area of economics that investigates the behavior of commercial businesses. In addition to his teaching and research commitments, he was director of undergraduate studies for 22 years. He is credited with inspiring many undergraduates to go on to graduate work. His dedication to the well-being and future of the economics department is meritorious. He served as department chair for 7 years, and many of his colleagues would agree that the department's collective success is due in no small part to his dedication to fostering an environment of support advice, and encouragement. Dr. Dixon had a distinguished career at UMB. He was an outstanding scholar, a superb teacher, and a well-respected academic who made significant contributions to his department and to the university. His record of accomplishment exemplifies the qualities of excellence and exceptional merit that are important criteria for the achievement of Professor Emeritus status. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellare tota universitas, commendo vobis Von Dixon, ut ei conferatus honoris causa, titulum professoris emeriti in hac universitate.
Ego conferro tibi, Von Dixon, ab manera tua huic universitati Dio et insignitur explida titulum ac statum professoris emeriti in universitati Novi Brunswicki. We will now proceed to the conferring of an honorary degree. The recipient will be presented by the University Orator, Dr. Gwendolyn Davies.
The Honorable Dennis O'Connor, QC, to be Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Dennis O'Connor has become widely known to Canadians because of his role as commissioner of two of the most soul-searching public inquiries in this country in the past 20 years. The first of these inquiries was into the tainted water tragedy in Walkerton, Ontario, a town of 4,800, where in the spring of 2000, 7 people died and 2,300 became ill from deadly bacteria in the community's drinking water. This was caused, as Justice O'Connor's inquiry uncovered, by a breakdown in provincial and local regulatory procedures and regulatory ethics. Justice O'Connor's second major commission was initiated in 2004 to delve into the actions of Canadian officials in relation to Mayor Arar, the Syrian-born Canadian engineer illegally detained in the United States and deported to imprisonment and torture in Syria on grounds of suspected terrorist connections. The recommendations of the O'Connor inquiry, first issued in 2006, publicly cleared Arar of terrorism allegations, indicated the potential culpability of Canadian officials in his being deported by the Americans to Syria, and argued that openness and transparency must be hallmarks of legal proceedings in our system of justice. In any constitutional climate, Commissioner O'Connor quoted, "The administration of justice thrives on exposure to light and withers under a cloud of secrecy." Dennis O'Connor's reports in the Walkerton and Arar inquiries have been called a testament to his wisdom, judgment, service to the community, and courage. Indeed, it has been argued that Dennis O'Connor developed a procedure to achieve fairness and maximum public disclosure during the Arar inquiry, which has since been put forward as the constitutional standard for other judicial hearings into national security matters. Such commitment to integrity, the Guelph Mercury has added, has helped improve government accountability in Ontario, Canada, and internationally. And reinforcing that sentiment, the Advocates Society has recently awarded the Honorable Dennis O'Connor its highest accolade, a medal recognizing not only his preeminence as counsel and as an unequivocal leader of the bar, but also as one who has made a significant contribution to the well-being of the community at large. Dennis O'Connor began his legal career after graduating from Osgoode Hall Law School in 1964, first practicing with his father, and then for 3 years serving as a magistrate in the Yukon, deputy magistrate of the Northwest Territories, and a provincial court judge in northern British Columbia. From 1976 to 80, he taught law at the University of Western Ontario. joining the Toronto law firm Borden Elliott in 1980, focusing on commercial and public law litigation. For the next 18 years, while at Borden Elliott, he also became a part-time faculty member at Osgoode Hall Law School, the chief negotiator for the Government of Canada for the Yukon Indian land claim, and an elected bencher of the Law Society of Upper Canada. In 1998, he was appointed to the Court of Appeal for Ontario, becoming Associate Chief Justice of Ontario in 2001. In the next 11 years, Justice O'Connor not only led both the Walkerton and Arar inquiries, but also served as chair of the Judicial Independence Committee and the Priorities and Planning Committee of the Canadian Judicial Council. While continuing to serve as Associate Chief Justice of Ontario, he also sat as a Deputy Supreme Court Judge in the Yukon Territory. In 2012, he resigned from the bench, rejoining his former Toronto firm, now Borden Ladner Gervais, as counsel. Dennis O'Connor has received many honors over the span of his career, ranging from being inducted into the Beaver Clan of the Crow Tribe in the Yukon Territory to being awarded the Ontario Bar Association Award for Distinguished Service. Today, it is the great privilege of the University of New Brunswick to add to those honors by admitting Dennis O'Connor to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellari, tota universitas, praesento vobis Dionysium O'Connor, ut admitator honoris causa, ad gradum doctoris in utraque ura in ac universitate.
Ego admitto te, Dionysium O'Connor, honoris causa, ad gradum doctoris in utroque iure in universitati Novi Brunswicki. It's now my privilege and great pleasure to invite Dr. Dennis O'Connor to address this insignia.
Chancellor Curry, Mr. President, members of the faculty, graduates, and families and friends. I'm very grateful to the University of New Brunswick for this honor, and I appreciate the kind citation by Dr. Davies. I'm particularly pleased to be honored today in a convocation presided over by Chancellor Richard Curry. I've been a friend and a great admirer of Chancellor Curry for many years. As President Campbell said, he is truly one of Canada's great business leaders. He's a rigorous and creative thinker. He was an innovator in business. And importantly for today's purposes, he's been a hugely generous benefactor to the University of New Brunswick. This building, scholarships, contributions to research, he's done it all. And so I think I can say, as the newest member of the University of New Brunswick family, thank you, Dick Curry. I want to offer my congratulations to the graduates here today. This is a most happy and important occasion in your lives. It's a day for each of you to recognize your accomplishments at completing this stage of your careers. You should take time to reflect upon your achievements, to give yourself credit for the hard work and the dedication and the perseverance that were necessary to bring you this far. I think I understand what it took, and you should be justifiably proud of your success. It's also a day to recognize your family members and friends that have played a role in your advancement. These people have encouraged and supported you and have no doubt enjoyed seeing you mature and succeed. So congratulations to all the families and friends that are here today. I wanted to make a few remarks to the graduates, most of whom you will be starting new careers in the near future. My experiences have obviously been based in the legal world, but I think the observations I make will be, I hope, generally true for whatever path you follow. The first is about that, about your career path and the choices that you'll make or not make. It sounds simple, but it's very important that in making choices, you follow your interests and your instincts. Try to figure out what it is that really lights you up, what engages you and will make you feel good about what you're doing. That may not necessarily be what others are doing or even what they expect you to do. But take time to periodically reflect and reevaluate your career, where it's taking you, to see if it's steering you towards the interesting and the challenging life that you thought when you started out. And if not, and this is important, don't be afraid to do something different. My observation is many people don't do that. And importantly, a change in a job or career path need not only come about when things are not going well. On the contrary, changing directions is often a very good idea when things are going well. But when you feel you're ready to move on, expand your interests, and face new challenges. Now, I'm not advocating flitting from one position to another, but when you've done a job thoroughly and well, there's also often a real and personal benefit in using that success to move on to something new, interesting, and different. As you've heard, I've had several changes in my working life. In each case, the change involved in leaving a position that I enjoyed and I think I was doing reasonably well at. But I thought there were opportunities for growth and I had an interest in new challenges. And the important lesson that I drew from each of those changes, I found that all of them, even the one that I just made at age 71, to be invigorating, refreshing, and renewing. Sort of like getting out of school in the middle of your career. And one of the beauties of higher education or being a member of a profession is you do have more choices. Not unlimited, but more. And remember, in the end, it is you, not others, who will define whether your working career as part of your overall life was a success. My second observation is that whatever course your career may follow, start looking early for opportunities to become in volunteer or public service activities and continue to be involved throughout your careers. Economic pressures should not be allowed to reduce your appetite for generosity or a commitment to public service. Your life will be enriched by contributing in that way. It is a great balance to work. Public service and community activities often renew a flagging spirit worn down by the day-to-day grind of work. Canadians have a strong tradition of serving our communities and being committed to the public interest. It is hard to imagine what a different and poorer society and country we would be if those who had the benefit of higher education had not provided leadership and made contributions to the public activities over the years. Take one example. Think of the contributions Canadians have made and continue to make to our universities. We have many wonderful universities in Canada. They're very important to our country. Their success has benefited enormously from voluntary contributions of time and money by individual citizens. Across Canada, people support universities in all sorts of ways, from sitting on boards of governors to being involved in alumni activities. And they also make huge financial contributions to research, to infrastructure, to supporting students. And it's my sense that in Canada, we greatly underappreciate and under-recognize just how important contributions of individual citizens are to the proper functioning of our social, political, educational, and community-based institutions. My third and final point is, it's important to bear in mind that a successful life is a balanced life. There is more to life than the day-to-day work in our career or profession. Whatever other interests you have, books, theater, sports, arts, the family, those interests must be allowed to flourish, as they are essential to becoming a well-rounded and complete individual. And in this respect, it's helpful to look for good role models. There are many, many people who provide outstanding examples, both in the way they pursue their careers and the values and the approach they bring to their lives more generally. Look around and you'll have no difficulty finding those whose style, whose choices, and whose values are what you admire and respect. See what it is about them, about the way they do things that makes them so successful. Make an effort to get to know them. Don't be shy. Generally, the types of people whom we admire are very approachable and are pleased to help younger people as they develop and evolve in their careers. So all of us here today wish you, the new graduates, the very best. Congratulations in achieving your new status as you embark upon the next stage of your life. Make a commitment to adhere to your values, your ideas, and if you do both, you'll be a better person for it, and our country will be the better for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. O'Connor, for your wise and inspiring words. We will now proceed to the conferring of degrees in course. May I extend to all of you who will graduate here today the very warmest congratulations of the university. When you first came here as a student, you became a member of the UNB family. And today, all of this family, your teachers, your colleagues, your friends, fellow students, administrators, and many members of your family are here to share your pride in having reached this important milestone in your life. We are delighted to recognize your hard work and sacrifice, and we wish you every success and happiness in the future. We hope that you will always value what you have learned here, and that you will forever remember your alma mater with great fondness. As each of you receives your degree today, you will be presented with a University of New Brunswick alumni pin by the UNB Associated Alumni. We will begin with the bachelor's degrees, to be followed by the master's and then the doctoral degrees. Candidates for the bachelor's degrees will be presented by the university orator.
The bachelor's degrees of Arts, Applied Arts, Laws, Juris Doctor, Philosophy and Interdisciplinary Leadership Studies, and Integrated Studies. Candidates will remain seated for the supplication. Insignissimi praeses, amplissime cancelleri, supplicant senatui et vic venerabili collegio gubernatorum, hi baccalauri vel scholares, in facultate artium, in facultate legis, in collegium restaurantionis, quorum nomina ac studia iam riti cognita sunt et promulgata, ut habitantur et proprium baccalauri gradum, in sua quisque facultate.
Placetni vobis, senatores, placetni gubernatores, uti supplicatores admittantur.
The supplicants for all the bachelor's degrees will now stand for presentation by the orator and admission by the president. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellare, tota universitas, praesento vobis hosce supplicatoris, in supra dictis facultatibus, ut admittantur ad proprium baccalauri gradum in sua quisque facultate, testorco ilios, quod omnia quae statuta nostra requirent, aptos et idonios esse.
Ego imito vos ad gradum baccalaureae in Universitati Novi Brunswicki.
You will now proceed in your assigned order onto the dais for individual acceptance. The Dean of Arts, Dr. James Murray, will present the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Applied Arts diplomas. Bachelor of Arts with Honors, Elisa May Allen Gerwing. What's your name? Scott Donald Beliveau. Shannon Lee Breen. Bailey Amber Lee Campbell. Eric William Punekes. Samantha Dawn Frampton. Gwyn Elizabeth Hearn. Emily Christina Diane Higgins. David Charles Howland. Kelly McCartney Jarman. James Stewart Michael Kitchen. Megan Roberta Lynch. Elisa Kathleen Mabey. Kendra Jenny McLaughlin. Trisha Jessica Munkitrick. Michael John Murphy. Micah Eugene O'Donnell. No? Eric Robert Pion. Christopher Neal Wilford Rankin. Natasha Reen Rego. Hillary Marie Smith. Sophie Hélène Thibodeau. Kathleen Grace Webb. Tia Marie Eve Baudouin. Joshua Maurice Richard Bojahara. Travis Wiseout. Anna Gwen Johnson. Caleb Andrew Nunn. Kayla Joanne Power. Guorong Zhang. Catherine Ashley Campbell. The Bachelor of Arts, Rachel Louise Conrad. Linnea Eleanor Fetter. Marcia Marie Gallant. Jared Hunt. Geneva Christine McJeffrey. Andrena Saray Algaran Tovar. Tiffany Dawn Burns. Megan O'Neill Cummings. Stephanie Kristen Doucette. Juan Carlos Echeverria. Andrea Louise Grant Francis. Cleo Elizabeth Gallant. Hansika Galpani Gunaratni. Thomas James Harding. Karen Eileen Hutchinson. Right. Ryan James Oliver Kennedy. Ryan O'Toole. Robert Anthony Sharp. He Yang. Chantel Marie Alicia Allen. Rebecca Maud Amos. Margaret Rose Anderson. Julie Barbara Babineau. Heather Noel Bailey. Jessica Grace Beanie. Erica Darlene Bentley. Jessie Taylor Blizzard. Jennifer Susan Teresa Bradley. Kristen Marie Brown. Victoria Marguerite Burden. Erin Rachel Cameron. Wendy Alice Cameron. Jonathan Donald Campbell. Sarah Jean Campbell. Jennifer Catherine Clements. Nathan Robert Stanley Collins. Erin Elizabeth Connors. Juliette Kathleen Cormier. Ian Alexander Covey. Kayla Marie Doucette. Megan Elizabeth Farah. Harrison Peter Fosnot. Crystal Dawn Flowers. Caitlin Marie Fredericks. Veronica Elizabeth Helen Gallant. Jordan Danny Gill. Jessica Joan Goldberg. Shayna Elizabeth Gorber. Monique France Hache. Peter Gregory Hansen. Brittany Elizabeth Hayes. Jacqueline Mary Elizabeth Herc. Yannick Adonis Heroglu. Alexandra Elizabeth Hollis. Jillian Elizabeth Hughes. Victoria Catherine Ingalls. Braden William Jones. Derek Elliott Jones. Monica Hawley Kearns. Morgan Arthur Lincoln Kenny. Samantha Susan Legassi. Jessica Claire Layton. Jillian Ann Lee. Hillary Claire Lister. Michelle Courtney McDonald. Christy Margaret McKinnon. David William McSwain. Shauna Lee Manning. David John McConnell. Christopher David McDowell. Kelsey Lee McIntyre. Brittany Heather McQuinn. Matthew Douglas Melanson. William Duncan Noble. Mitchell Ryan Muir. Carrie O'Donnell. Danica Gina O'Neill. Benjamin Raymond O'Toole. Michael Save Ostland. Bethany Rose Painter. Megan Cheyenne Marie Polches. Gerald Robert Pond. Kyle Kenneth Poser. Alexandra Jade Rossiter. Ashley Megan Savoy. Brittany Aline Shaw. Tracy Lynn Sode. Caitlin Alice Tabor. Natalie Lynn Trainer. Kirby Vicaire. Van Wang. Lucas Gerald Waugh. Chantel Jessica Dawn Whitman. David James Wilson. Cindy Marie Woodworth. Maggie Amal Youssef. This concludes the granting of the Bachelor of Arts degree. Bachelor of Applied Arts, Tina Dickerson. Desiree Emmanuel Chomo. Cassandra Elizabeth Burrell. Emily Christine Sheila Dowell. Nadia Marie-Jeanne El-Khoury. Megan Patricia Mitten. This concludes the granting of the Bachelor of Applied Arts degree. The Acting Dean of Law, Professor John Williamson, will present the Bachelor of Laws and Juris Doctor diplomas. Juris Doctor, Danielle Jean Marie Harding. Jennifer Marlene Petrushin. Ashley Elizabeth Savinov. Colin Alexander. Megan Elizabeth Beresford. Melissa Bootlier. Erica Barbara Breen. Michael David Briggs. David John Canvan. Sarah Jane Clark. Richard Aaron Collier. Jeffrey Cook. Shelley Jean Dundas. Attila Charles Edged. Patrick Charles Groove. Daniel William Hambrook. Jessica Sharon Hanna. Stephen Harold Hansen. Mark Nicholas Harcourt Vernon. Peter Harrison. Colin Heighton.
Prince in the front. Prince
Anwar Jara. Cynthia Lynn Jenkins. Charlene Louise Kennedy. Adam Michael King. Nicole Renee Lafosse. Catherine Heather Lewis. Emily Ann McDonald. Tiffany McKay. Morgan Manzer. Ryan Joseph McCarville. Laura Kathleen McDaniel. Matthew McEwen. Jessica Monique Melanson. Philip Alexander Seth Milley. Ellen Claire O'Gorman. Courtney Ann Palmer. J. Robert Finney. Ryan Charles Seymour. Natalie Margaret Stewart. Amy Thomas. Jesse Alexander Travis. Josh Morgan Tuttle. Laura Helen Vino. Shane Mangubet Victoria. Jennifer Starr Weston. Philip Calvin Whalen. Erica Young. Michael Zimmerman. This concludes the granting of the Bachelor of Laws and Juris Doctor degree. The Dean of Renaissance College, Dr. Ted Needham, will present the Bachelor of Philosophy and Bachelor of Integrated Studies diplomas. Grace Caitlin Caldwell. Katie Ann Flynn. Allison Casey Mee. Adelheid Helena Pyle. Lisa Marie Robichaud. Heather Lynn Uhl. This concludes the granting of the Bachelor of Philosophy degree. Bachelor of Integrated Studies, Alistair Joseph Smith. This concludes the granting of the Bachelor of Integrated Studies degree.
We shall now confer the master's degree in course. The candidates will be presented by Dean Emerita of the School of Graduate Studies, Dr. Gwen Davies.
The master's degrees of Arts and Philosophy in Policy Studies. Candidates will remain seated for the supplication. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellare, supplicant senatui et vi venerabili collegio gubernatorum, he baccalaureus vel scholares in facultate artium, in collegium restaurationis, quorum nomina ex studia iam riti cognita sunt et promulgata, ut habitantur et proprium magistri gradum in sua quisque facultate.
Placetni vobis senatores, placetni gubernatores, uti supplicatoris admittantur.
The supplicants for the aforesaid master's degrees will stand for presentation and admission by the President. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellare, tota universitas, praesento vobis hosci supplicatoris in supra dictis facultatibus, ut admittantur ad propria magistri gradum in sua quisque facultata, testorca ilios, coed omnia quae statuta nostra requirent, aptos et idoneos essa.
Ego admitto vos ad gradum magistri in universitati Novi Brunswicki.
You will now proceed in your assigned order onto the dais for individual acceptance. The Assistant Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Linda Eyre, will present the master's diplomas. Master of Arts, Christopher Francis Connell. Kelly Rebecca Flynn. James Reed Good. Matthew Owen Gwathmey. Leah Schoenmakers. Master of Philosophy and Political Studies, Carrie Elizabeth Culligan.
Of Doctor of Philosophy. The candidates will be presented by Dr. Davies.
The degree Doctor of Philosophy. Candidates will stand for the supplication. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancellare, supplicant senatui et vi venerabili collegio gubernatorum. Ian Alexander Andrews, History. David Andrew Boris, History. Nicola Alessandra Fieta, English. Leslie Ann Frank, Sociology. Douglas Vincent Mastriono, History. Kelly Ann Scott Story, Interdisciplinary Studies. Magistri vel baccalaureus ut admittantur ad gradum philosophiae doctoris.
Placetni vobis senatores, placetni gubernatores, uti supplicatores admittantur.
The candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy will come forward and stand before the dais for admission. Insignissime praeses, amplissime cancelere, tota universitas, praesento vobis hosci supplicatoris ut admantanter ad gradum philosophiae doctoris, testorco ilios, quod omnia quae statuta nostra requirent, aptos et idonios esse.
Ego admittos, was ad gradum philosophiae doctoris in Universitati Novi Brunswicki.
You will now proceed onto the dais for individual acceptance. Ian Alexander Andrews, PhD in History. Dr. Andrews investigated the career of Louise Manny as a prominent amateur Miramichi folklorist during the middle decades of the 20th century. His findings will contribute to the history of cultural production in New Brunswick, as well as to an understanding of the relationship between academics and intelligent amateur enthusiasts. Nicola Alessandro Fieta, English. Dr. Fieta investigated Canadian historical novels of the 21st century and has demonstrated that many of these novels are increasingly conservative in their form and in their politics. His findings will contribute to the understanding of 21st century Canadian culture by demonstrating that these novels reflect the increasingly coarse and conservative political discourse of our times. Leslie Ann Frank, Sociology. Dr. Frank investigated the condition of infant food insecurity in Canada and has demonstrated why low-income mothers, who could most benefit from the cost saving of food production via breastfeeding, are the least likely to do so. Her findings will contribute to our understanding of the relationship between infant nutrition and household food insecurity, and how public policy does or could respond. Douglas Vincent Mastriano, History. Dr. Mastriano investigated the authenticity of the deeds of America's most celebrated soldier in the First World War, Sergeant Alvin C. York, who was credited with fighting off a German bayonet attack, eliminating a machine gun, and capturing 132 German soldiers on the 8th of October 1918. Mastriano's findings will contribute to the legacy of the United States Army's rich military heritage and preserve the legacy of Sergeant York for generations to come. Kellyanne Scott Story, Interdisciplinary Studies. Dr. Scott Story investigated cumulative lifetime abuse as a risk factor for cardiovascular disease among women and has demonstrated physiological, behavioral, and psychological pathways by which abuse increases the risk for cardiovascular disease. Her findings contribute to new understanding of how lifetime abuse and changes in depressive symptoms over time affect cardiovascular health among women. This concludes the granting of degrees in course.
Congratulations, graduates. Please note that an English translation of your diploma has been placed inside the folder behind the parchment. In 2011, on the occasion of UMB's 225th anniversary, a new tradition was introduced, the UMB coin. I'd like to thank all those who made this tradition possible, from the committee who worked hard to get the coin just right, the associate alumni who made a significant financial contribution in support of the project. We hope that this coin will carry your individual memories of a life-changing experience at UMB and serve as a reminder that when you combine an ambitious goal and personal dedication, you can attain anything. Maybe more importantly, let this coin be a symbol that you were, are, and will always be part of our family, the worldwide family of thousands of UMB alumni who work to better our world each and every day. We hope you hold your coin with pride. We are certainly very proud of you. We know you leave us with more knowledge, a greater sense of community, and the potential to make a significant difference in the quality of your own lives and the lives of those you touch as you take the next step in life's journey. Congratulations on a job well done. I now invite representatives of UNB's faculty, staff, and alumni to present the 2013 UMB coin.
I would now like to call upon Karen Taylor, President of the UNB Associated Alumni, to deliver the Welcome to New Alumni. Karen.
Thank you, President Campbell. Good morning, everybody. It is a real honor for me to be in the company of so many happy, proud, and perhaps just a little bit relieved, maybe, graduates, family, and friends. What a wonderful day this is. On behalf of the UNB Associated Alumni and the Associated Alumni, which is the Women's Association here at UNB, may I offer a very sincere congratulations to all of you on this, your graduation day. Although I've not had the pleasure of meeting many of you, our newest members of the alumni, I have made a few observations that I'd like to share with you. You are effective decision makers. You chose to share your time, your talents, your knowledge, and your enthusiasm by being a student and now a graduate and an alum of the University of New Brunswick. Secondly, you set your goals high and you achieved them. That is clearly evident today as you celebrate your most recent achievement. As you move ahead in your journey, I'd like to share this quote with you from Anne Saddlemeyer, who's a Canadian scholar. And she said, "Don't let anyone ever tell you that you cannot go through any particular door. Just be prepared to go through a door that leads to your goal." As an alumna or an alumnus of UNB, you are joining the ranks of many trailblazing women and men who set their sights high and achieved amazing results. And I have every confidence that you all will do the same. Thirdly, you appreciate the importance of celebrating your accomplishments and successes. As a graduate of UNB, you will have many, many more successes and opportunities to celebrate as you go through life. UNB grads make a significant difference in our world. Our alum are world-class researchers, entrepreneurs, educators, pioneers, and much, much more. You are also now a member of this wonderful UNB family, the Alumni family, and you'll be so for the rest of your lives, so there's no going away. And we're happy about that. It may come as a bit of a shock to some of you, but in case you didn't know it, you now have 70,000 and more, I think, alumni and alumni family members across the globe. So as you look around you, these are your newest brothers and sisters. As alumni, we hope you will stay involved with UNB. There are so many ways to do that. Just a few examples. Our faculties have advisory boards. We have a very dedicated board of governors, an alumni council, and UNB has many chapters in many locations. If you live somewhere where there isn't a UNB chapter, I'm sure we'd be more than happy to help you start one. Remember, as a UNB family member, and as families do, we want you to come back home for a visit as often as you can. Homecoming is a wonderful way to do that. Another hope that we have for you is that you will share your time and your talents in the communities where you reside, and also share the great news stories about UNB, and there are lots of those, and the amazing opportunity that this university provides. Leave room to dream and believe in the power of the possible and the absolute importance of making a difference as alumni and alumni wherever you are. As Canadian Olympic gold medalist Lorianne Munzer said, "Nothing is impossible, it's what you decide that your limits are." Be proud, be passionate UNB grads, and above all, as Oscar Wilde once said, be yourself, because everybody else is taken. Welcome to the UNB alumni and alumni, and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Karen. Again this year, the graduating class has asked that the valedictory be presented at Insignia. The valedictorian for this ceremony is Josh Tuttle of Thornbury, Ontario, who today received his law degree. Mr. Tuttle, I invite you to deliver the valedictory address.
Almost 3 years ago, I walked out of a tree planting camp in Edmundston, New Brunswick, and into the UNB Law admissions office. I was in the province by chance, having tree planted that summer throughout Ontario, adding a short August contract in northern New Brunswick before finishing. I had applied to UNB months earlier and was placed on the waiting list. As I walked into the admissions office that morning, I was adorned in just what one wants to be when facing a life-changing opportunity. Ragged steel-toe boots, shredded cargo shorts, a 3-month beard, and smelling like someone who had been in the bush for about 5 years. I found my way through what was then an unfamiliar, stately, and intimidating law school to the admissions office. I introduced myself to a lovely woman who, after overcoming her barely concealed shock at my appearance and overall hygiene, explained that there were only 2 people ahead of me on the list. I left the office, the law school, and shortly thereafter the province, all the while wondering, with only 3 weeks left until school, would I get the call? The next day, my questions were answered, and I gladly accepted an offer to attend the University of New Brunswick Law School. Your Honor, Mr. Chancellor, members of the Board of Governors, Mr. President, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, parents, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. It is my privilege to be addressing you today. There are the themes that instantly come to mind when one thinks of a valedictory address: thankfulness, privilege, responsibility, the journey. Many of us have heard these themes expounded upon countless times, and while most certainly important, their luster has perhaps begun to fade. I have a different idea today, one that, though perhaps not groundbreaking, I believe to be wholly worthwhile. A life well lived. A life well lived. The idea that each of us, regardless of age, gender, race, sexual preference, occupation, education, can and should live well. What is living well? What makes up this idea to which we should aspire? I suggest to you that it is comprised of a great number of things. It is living honestly. My dad loved the phrase, "There's no such thing as being a little bit honest or a little bit pregnant." I think his intent was probably to avoid an untimely grandchild, but the underlying premise is there. A great many of our stresses and anxieties can be relieved by one of the simplest things, the truth. It is living fairly. Over the course of 3 years at law school, one is regularly confronted with examples of injustice. Injustice in the criminal law, in family law, in civil matters. There are those among us who will go on to do great things and reach great heights. For those, as for all, it is important to recognize the disadvantages of others and to accommodate rather than exploit. It is living simply. Thoreau once said, "In proportion as he simplifies his life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor poverty poverty, nor weakness weakness." Too often today we become caught up in the petty, the material, and the useless. There are people and things that are truly important in our lives, and it is to them, not to the ever-present clutter, we should dedicate more time and energy. It is living happily. Why not spend our time here happy? Why not pursue people and places and jobs and arts and activities that give us joy? It is not to throw off all responsibilities and duties. We had a few classmates who went with this strategy, and well, let's just say they didn't quite make it to graduation day. The point, rather, is to spend our time eagerly pursuing those things that stimulate and inspire us. A life well lived. That is the challenge to which I put our graduates today. As a wonderful poem puts it, to go placidly amid the noise and haste and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others. At the University of New Brunswick, we have acquired the skills to achieve a life well lived. This is a special place. Regardless of our faculty, I think our experience has been much the same. A small, well-functioning community that is accepting, supportive, and intimate. The friendship, camaraderie, and memories that have been cultivated in law, arts, Renaissance College, and interdisciplinary studies will serve myself and my fellow graduates exceedingly well, regardless of our diverse pursuits. We carry on from this place with a foundation capable of supporting our future accomplishments. Today we graduate and move on from this stage in our lives. For some of us, this marks the end of a long education. For others, this is the beginning. For all of us, there is a full, challenging, and beautiful life ahead, waiting to be well lived. I give you the class of 2013.
Thank you, Josh. Graduates, at this time, I would like you to remember all of the people who are responsible for helping to bring you to this day. Many of them are gathered here around you to celebrate in your achievements. Family, friends, mums and dads, no doubt happy, and as Karen said, no doubt relieved. I would like you to stand up and give them all a round of applause, and remember those who weren't able to be here as well. Have a seat. On behalf of the Chancellor, the Board of Governors, the Senate, and the faculty, I extend to all who have received their degrees here today our most sincere congratulations on your achievement and our very best wishes for the future. I'd also like to thank the St. John String Quartet, David Adams, Larissa Chitty, Christopher Buckley, and Sonia Adams, joined by trumpeter Robert Dutton for providing the music for our 184th Insignia. Always a treat. I would also like to thank the more than a small army of people who have assisted with the arrangements for this ceremony. Perhaps it's enough to know that those behind the scenes refer to it as Insania. At the conclusion of this ceremony, you are all cordially invited to attend the Insignia Tea in McConnell Hall, the building located just across the street, slightly up the hill. The Associated Alumni will be selling diploma frames at this tea, and a photo booth has been set up in McConnell Hall for you to capture more memories with your family and your friends. It is now a pleasure to invite Braden Jones, who received his Bachelor of Arts degree this morning, to come up onto the platform and to lead us in the singing of O Canada. I would ask that everyone rise and remain standing until the academic procession has retired. Mr. Jones.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Canada.